I'm Mike, and welcome to Retro Boost. A while back, I did a bunch of comparison videos comparing my original 2-chip SNES system to my newly acquired 1-chip SNES system. I was very excited to have that because it was so novel to have a Super Nintendo with such different visuals than what I had been used to for so long. The 1-chip system having a kind of sharper, more popping color, although not perfect because some of that is a little overexposed, maybe even too bright. And there's other issues with the 1-chip systems as well, like having issues with the noise on black screens and things like that. I eventually got the 1-chip system modified though, fixing all that stuff thanks to RetroFixes. Very happy with the work done and the quality of the system after. So of course I did comparisons of that 1-chip system pre and post modified. But one thing I never really thought about doing was swinging back and kind of redoing the original comparisons, comparing my unmodified 2-chip SNES to the now modified 1-chip SNES. The idea was kind of spurred to me through a helpful comment that asked for this, and then I was like, you know what, that would be kind of cool, because there's going to be a huge difference. Now, to an extent, the difference is sort of unfair, because we're sort of comparing apples to oranges here in a way, although they're both Super Nintendos. The Super Nintendo has a bunch of different variations, and now I have one that's modified. So we're kind of looking at like the two extremes. We're looking at the base usual starter Super Nintendo, the 2-chip system, and then we're looking at a modified 1-chip SNES. So we're seeing the basics and we're seeing what it looks like to go completely nuts. For that reason, it makes for a fun comparison. But just keep in mind that you can modify a 2-chip SNES. Voltar offers that, and I've heard really good things about the quality of what that mod offers. I don't have it myself, maybe one day, but for now, unmodified 2-chip system and a modified 1-chip system done by RetroFixes are what we're comparing today using the 5X Pro. So let's get into it. I've got a bunch of comparisons. I'm not going to go like totally crazy with a variety of games. Super Metroid is the game of choice. I think it offers us the best playground for both dark and bright gameplay examples that really bring to light these differences. But to kind of give us some variety, we've got standard examples using the 5X Pro's kind of basic Super Nintendo profile. We'll put it into 1080p over, get it all properly scaled and cropped, and then put it into Super Nintendo sampling, the 256 mode, let it run, and then we've also got scanline examples and scanline examples with HDR using the slot mask preset. And then for the HDR example, it's HDR10 with brightness gamma adjusted a little bit to keep it from looking just too overexposed, too crazy. It's obviously subjective how bright you want your experience to be. I kind of usually bounce around like the +5 kind of territory when I'm doing stuff with the 5X Pro. So 3 examples there: standard, scanlines, and then scanlines with HDR. Hope you enjoy these comparisons. Well, as I thought, they'd be pretty extreme. So I think that right off the bat, adding scan lines to the mix really fixes a lot of the issues with the standard Super Nintendo experience. A lot of the lack of clarity that the two-chip system has when it's doing all this is really aided by having scan lines hiding that stuff, which is kind of the whole point of scan lines to begin with for a lot of these retro systems. They can hide flaws in systems that are like that or that are using more basic cable outputs like composite. Scan lines can really help you with that. With that said, neither one looks bad. They both look great, but you can see what the modded one-chip experience gets you. I think the biggest moments that really shine, number one, the clarity. We see that the white Nintendo on the title screen is way more defined on the one-chip side. Just the same, just the quality of the color. It looks more natural on the modded side. If you look at the HUD, we see the white text versus the map on the one-chip side. It's really looking much more like pure white on the modded side than the more kind of dim white that the two-chip system has. But the biggest moment for me was the part where Samus is entering Lower Norfair and she jumps into the acid pool or magma pool. I'm not sure which they consider that anymore. It's acid places somewhere and magma other places. I guess it'd be acid. Anyway, jumps in there. that bright, fiery orange color has not just a more bright, vivid orange flavor on the one chip side, but you can see how the clarity really helps it too. Quite interesting. And then the HDR examples are fun too, because HDR, adding that into the mix really brings out the CRT flavor from the picture, and again, really helps the two chip system as well. So I have a whole video where I did the Scanlines and HDR. It's actually one of my personal favorites, and just in terms of the topic. I think it's a cool topic, and HDR is something that I've been working around for a long time for my previous job that I had. So it was kind of fun to re-explore a topic that I was just so familiar with talking about, but from an entirely new perspective. Really awesome. So there we go. A bunch of comparisons highlighting 2-chip versus modded 1-chip. The 5X Pro, great device, love it. I didn't even say at the beginning, I always forget to, geez. RGB was what I was using, a SCART cable, the Universal SCART cable by Retro Gaming Cables UK. Excellent cable. Really love their stuff. Jeez. Okay. Hope you found this helpful and informative. It was really cool. It was a fun comparison to do just because of how dramatic it was. And I mentioned before, I got the system modded by RetroFixes. I was very happy with the work done. I have a whole video that kind of goes over the main process of what the work was done, what that entailed, and showing results with the RetroTINK 4K Pro. I was really happy with it, and I would recommend it to others who are interested. Really cool stuff. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next one.